third time! Hey everybody, it's Amy Coon, aka 1028, reporting in from Kids Network Studios. And this is my third time recording this video. This is why I don't rehearse before recording, just in case I have some complications. This is why, people. This is why! But anyways, we got Pokemon to cover, we got things to do, and I'm gonna lay down because I'm awfully tired. Alrighty. Our first Pokemon is Magmar, the Spitfire Pokemon. A fire type with weaknesses to water, ground, rock, and as a standalone, meaning if it didn't get any evolutions or pre-evolutions, Magmar is okay. I like it. It's a good fire type, but, you know, there are better fire types out there. Our next Pokemon is, of course, Pinsir, the Stag Beetle Pokemon. A bug type with weaknesses to fire, flying, rock. Pinsir has no evolutions and definitely not worth your time competitively. There are better bug types out there. Even though Pinsir's attack stat is way up there, it just doesn't have the attacks to back that up. Our next Pokemon is Tauros, the Wild Bull Pokemon. A normal type with only one weakness, fighting. Tauros has no evolution, and I thought as the Generation 5 was coming out that Bouffant was going to be Tauros' evolution. I was saddened that I found out otherwise. But, in all honesty, Tauros is still pretty good on its own. Our next Pokemon is, of course, Magikarp. Magikarp. Yes, that annoying fish Pokemon, a water type, two weaknesses, electric and grass, and in all honesty, if it didn't evolve into Gyarados, we wouldn't even think about going after a Magikarp. Gyarados, the atrocious Pokemon, a water flying type with a 4-time weakness, 2 electric attacks, with also a weakness to rock type moves. And back in Generation 1, you didn't want to mess with a Gyarados. It was seriously really powerful, and it still is to this day. Our next Pokemon is Lapras, the Transport Pokemon, a water ice type with weaknesses to electric, grass, fighting, and rock types. And in all honesty, Lapras is right behind Dewgong. I like Dewgong, I like Lapras, but its stats could be a little bit better. Our next Pokemon is, of course, Ditto, the Transform Pokemon, a normal type with 1 weakness, fighting, and no evolutions. And in all honesty, if you didn't need a Ditto to do your breeding with, you don't need a Ditto at all, because all it does is transform. Like Ben, transform! Or the Transformers themselves. I know, bad pun, sorry. Our next Pokemon is Porygon, the virtual Pokemon, a normal type with 1 weakness to fighting. Porygon has 2 evolutions, which we won't cover until later. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I remember playing at the slot machines on Fire Red and Leaf Green, trying to get myself a Porygon. Took me forever, finally got it. Lo and behold, I find out later, not really worth my time. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? I spent all that time for nothing. I guess, in all honesty, it wasn't for nothing. I mean, it was to complete my Pokedex. Whatever. Our next Pokemon is Omanyte, a rock-water type, also known as the Spiral Pokemon. Omanyte has a 4-time weakness to grass, a weakness to electricity, and a weakness to ground type moves. Omanyte has 1 evolution, Omnistar, the Spiral Pokemon, a rock water type, same weaknesses as Omanyte, And in all honesty, there are better rock water types out there I'm about to cover two of them right now. Because our next Pokemon is Kabuto, the Selfish Pokemon. A Rock Water type with a 4 times weakness to Grass, with the weaknesses to Electric, Fighting, and Ground. Of course, Kabuto has one evolution, Kabutops, a Rock Water type, the Selfish Pokemon. Same weaknesses as Kabuto. And in all honesty, Kabutops I like. Because he can really dish out some damage if need be. You better watch out because I got a Kabutops that can knock you out. Our next Pokemon is Aerodactyl, the fossil Pokemon. A rock flying type. Weaknesses are water, electric, ice, and did I say rock already? I'll say rock again. And steel type moves. Since Aerodactyl has no evolutions whatsoever, it's really not... I mean, it's a good attacker and everything, but the minute a water type move hits it, it goes down in a heartbeat. Like literally, it just whoosh. There goes your Aerodactyl. Bye, Aerodactyl! Our next Pokemon is, of course, Snorlax, the sleeping Pokemon, a normal type with one weakness, Fighting. Snorlax has a pre-evolution which we won't cover until much later on. And Snorlax, as we all know, is famous for sleeping there in the middle of the road. Just sleeps and sleeps and sleeps. You get the idea. And this Pokemon is a beast as a defensive wall. You can't get much better than a Snorlax as your defensive wall. Like seriously, this guy's HP is like out the window. So getting a Snorlax is very, very worth your time. Our next Pokemon is Dratini, the dragon Pokemon, obviously a dragon type, with the weaknesses to Ice, Dragon, and Fairy type moves. It has 2 evolutions. One is Dragonair, the dragon Pokemon, obviously a dragon type. Same weaknesses as Dratini. And Dratini's final evolved form is, of course, Dragonite, the dragon Pokemon, a dragon flying type with a 4 times weakness to Ice. It's also weak to Rock, Dragon, and Fairy type moves. And Dragonite, yeah. You went up against a Dragonite in Generation 1, you had a hard time beating it. Because all you had back then was Ice or Dragon type moves to take it out. So, Dragonite still has that huzzah that it has today from back then. And in all honesty, I now have a Dragonite. And I'm just like, see ya! when I'm battling competitively. Alright, our next Pokemon, all the way from the Johto region. We finally made it to Johto, yay! The first Pokemon there is Chikorita, the leaf Pokemon, a grass type, with the weaknesses to Fire, Ice, Poison, Flying, and Bug type moves. Chikorita has 2 evolutions. One is Bayleaf, the leaf Pokemon, a grass type. Same weaknesses as Chikorita. And Chikorita's final evolved form, is Meganium, the herb Pokemon, also a grass type, also has the same weaknesses. And in all honesty, being a pure grass type, Chikorita is pretty good. But there are better pure grass types out there. I'm sorry, I love Meganium and everything, but it's just not worth it competitively. I say we finish off with the Johto starters, and our next Johto starter is Cyndaquil. The Fire Mouse Pokemon, a fire type with weaknesses to water, ground, and rock type moves. Cyndaquil has 2 evolutions. One is Quilava, the Volcano Pokemon, a fire type. Same weaknesses as Cyndaquil, and its final evolved form is Typhlosion, the Volcano Pokemon, also a fire type with the same weaknesses as Cyndaquil and Quilava. Typhlosion's a badass! I'm sorry. I finally get to say it after all this time. Typhlosion is a badass. I love Typhlosion. I seriously do. I seriously started out with a Cyndaquil first time around, and I'm just like, yes, I get my Typhlosion! Finally! It was a beast on my team. Our next Pokemon is Totodile, the Big Jaw Pokemon, a water type with 2 weaknesses, electric and grass, and it also has 2 evolutions. Croconaw, the Big Jaw Pokemon, a water type, and, of course, Feraligatr, the Big Jaw Pokemon, also a water type, and these two have the same weaknesses as Totodile. And I have to say, when I finally got my Totodile, because in all honesty, I love Totodile and Feraligatr. Feraligatr was just like, okay, why did I even go with Chikorita? Seriously. Feraligatr was just as good as Typhlosion. And this was the only region to date that had pure starter types across the board. What do I mean? I mean that they just had no secondary typing. Okay, we're going to stop it there. Next time we'll continue onwards with Sentret. Until next time, guys, this is Amy Kuhn, aka Kids28, and I'm signing off from Kids Network Studios. See you guys Saturday. Saturday!